For some families, it's not the most stressful part to just get some interest from some coaches. The stressful part is turning that interest into a college offer. And for my client, Julie, that was the biggest thing for them when they enrolled into Apex. Her son, Brendan, committed extremely fast because they understood the one simple rule that's the difference maker between so many athletes getting recruited and so many athletes not getting recruited. The hardest part of the process is not generating interest. While we did generate them a ton of interest, we built out their YouTube channel, managed their social media, managed all their emails, that's not the hard part. The hard part is what happens after, managing different coach relationships where they all have different personalities and turning all of that interest into the offer that you want that's a good fit. In this video, Julie does a great job of explaining the dynamic we have with our athletes, what exactly we do for them, and even the part that most people don't understand, which is the one-to-one conversation and communication that helped them turn their interested coach into an offer where their son ultimately committed. So without further ado, let's jump into the video.
So it wasn't last Monday, the Monday before, it was the 22nd. He reached out to the coach, said he got in. He ended up getting the Dean Scholarship, which is the highest scholarship merit scholarship that they offer. Then they even piled on more. They're like, if you live on campus, we'll give you a couple $1,000 also. And then they threw in, after your first and second year, we'll give you $3,500 if you do a unpaid internship. So like that definitely helps out.
Oh yeah, that's a big bonus, getting some extra money to knock off of that tuition. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It seems like that was a good fit for you guys, especially a little more stability is always nice with coaches. You don't want to go into somewhere, right? You don't know what's going on. It's a new coach. Stability is always good. That's fantastic. I do have a couple of questions just to see, where your head's at, because I want to make sure that everybody who sees this or anybody who watches this, they get a good idea of what it's like working with us. So I was curious, kind of what were you expecting going into everything versus the outcome that you got at the end? Did you have the same expectation that you got? Was it above expectations? What do you think?
So definitely above expectations. One of the first things that you did was opened us up to schools that we hadn't previously found or considered or knew about. So that was definitely number one. We absolutely loved what you did with the video we had and how you were able to market Brendan on X or Twitter. That was really helpful. We loved what you did with his YouTube channel. We loved the email that you set up, and you made it seamless with being able to email out coaches. So kind of kept us on track for that. And definitely using the pre-made scripts, if you will, when dealing and working with the coaches is something that we didn't know. We weren't aware of that. So that really helped us and guided us through the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know we had a lot of back and forth, and you sent me a lot of messages from a lot of coaches. So in your perspective, what was it kind of like working? Because obviously I work pretty directly with everybody that works with us. What was the difference working with me directly, obviously, versus using just a script and getting a little bit more of a customized response every time you're talking to a coach in some pretty tricky situations? Is that a bit different?
Absolutely. So that it was really helpful because sometimes without knowing the industry, we didn't always know what a coach might have been thinking. And so you were able to really translate what they were saying and what they were meaning versus a mom that has no idea with a son going through the recruiting process. So you also were able to, like during one particular tricky situation, I didn't know how to answer, and maybe it wasn't part of the script, it wasn't part of the plan. Having you to be able to say, this is what's going on, understanding and translating what the coach was kind of saying, and then being able to provide a really helpful response.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I really enjoyed that's the part I like the most about it is when things get a little, I know it's obviously a little more stressful for you guys, but that's the part I love the most, when things get complicated and you have to get those critical thinking skills out and start working. That's the part I really enjoy. But With that, before you guys came to work with us, obviously, we didn't really have as much conversation with coaches. I think you were talking to maybe one or two schools, and then obviously it blew up from there.
Yeah.
With that outcome that you guys got, do you feel like you guys made the right decision working with us? And if so, why? Was there any particular piece that made things easier for you guys, you felt was the most helpful? Really anything you think from this point?
Yeah, I think there were so many things that we ended up getting stuck. We got stuck in this loop and we were ready to give up. That we were just reaching out to the same schools over and over again. I wasn't saying or guiding Brendan to say the right things. So we really got stuck in this loop. So you helped to broaden the horizons of other schools to look out for, then providing the feedback. And then that really honestly helped us build confidence for Brendan. It helped him build up his confidence. Um, it helped with his communication skills because then coaches are starting to text with him, and he needed to have the professionalism, the maturity, the answers. So you really guided us and educated us on developing that conversations, and those you needed in order to get beyond where we were stuck over and over again. So that for us was really, really important. And I've already recommended you to other parents, because so if they end up in the same situation, you're just thinking of the same, 5, 10, 15 schools, and you think you're doing the right thing and you're educating yourself online, reading books. But eventually if you get stuck, you want to give up, and I'm glad we didn't.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I really appreciate that too. And yeah, it's a lot of times there's just a roadblock that you have to get down, and sometimes it takes an outside perspective to do so. Okay, awesome. Well, last question for you. If you were talking to another parent who may be on the fence about working with us and moving forward with our service, what would be a few things you would tell them, and what would be the recommendation you gave them, or the recommendation that you gave them?
Yeah, so what I've said is you guys really help to guide the process, that you help open doors for schools that you may not have considered, helping with the communication. Um, I think the one of the biggest takeaways is like just that communication that will lead a dialogue with the coach. And again, that's where our doors kept shutting because we didn't know how to um, have that dialogue, to have a coach. Like we either went all guns a blazing, like come meet with us, or just here I am. And it's that happy medium that we needed, and that finesse with working with a coach that we didn't have the education for. Um, and then helping to show Brendan, because ultimately he's the one that's working with the coaches, to build his confidence and his, just ability to work professionally with a coach, because it is a business for
Mhm.
these coaches and they want the best for their school and for their team. So with working with myself, Randy, Brendan, educating us all, with you guys helping with the emails, the X Twitter, the YouTube, all of that we couldn't have done. So that's really why I'm recommending you guys to local parents, and for our next son too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'd be more than happy to help. So, Julie, that's pretty much all I have for you. I really appreciate you hopping on here. Do you have anything else that you want to add that you can think of while we're on the call? Anything?
No, we really can't thank you enough, because now he's set up for an amazing college, for the best case scenario, and to continue the sport he loves.
And that is how Julie and Brendan's recruiting process unfolded. They were stuck in that endless cycle and that endless loop. And when they enrolled in Apex, we helped them in that loop, get the offer they wanted, and end up committing. So if you want to understand and you want to know more about how you can get this exclusive one-on-one service, the highest level of service for your family and your athlete, I'll leave the link in the description below, and there's going to be a video on that next page that's going to give you a little bit more information.